Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today in the Discord, as well as the plan going into tomorrow and what the market outlook is going into the rest of the week. So this is what we looked like today. If we pull up the 30-minute chart again, just to refresh, this always tells you the main trend in the market. So when you pull up the 540 puts, this is what we have. 10's below the 50. That means, there's no trend on the put side. And then we go pull up the call side, and right off of open, market was bullish because this 10 was above the 50. So since we're above the 50, 10's above the 50 and we're crossed, we're bullish until we get a closure below that 50, and then usually once we lose the 50, it goes and crosses the negative, and then the market's back neutral, which pretty much happened today. So how you could have played today, what did we look like on the 0-day charts? Because 0-day charts give us the entries, and then the Friday contracts tell you the bigger picture. So we look at the bigger picture, and then from there go down to the 0-day charts, and that's where we enter off of. So when we pull up the 0DT charts, this is what we looked like today. There was really no opportunity whatsoever today. So we go pull up the call side at first. This is what we looked like right off of open. There was nothing. I mean, we ended up crossing negative pretty much off of open, and I'm not going to take this negative cross with a 30-minute cross bullish still. So I would just wait for the call cross. Never got it, and we just ended up dumping the rest of the day on these contracts. And then when we go pull up the put side, these were very choppy. Again, we got this cross, but the 50 never curled until all the way down in here, and at this point, with how we looked, I was not taking any trades for the day because it was just super choppy. Market was pretty much going neutral. There was nothing clean. And then this chart ended up going negative, and this was the only really good opportunity right here. This gave a solid move, but this just wasn't a market I was trading today. I didn't take any trades off of these 0-day charts. There was just nothing to take. This little cross that happened just wasn't clean at all. I know the 50 curled right here, but market was just moving so weird. I didn't feel like taking that put cross, so I sat out, and then this went negative. I know Colton tried this right here, and he ended up stopping pretty much break even before it ended up ripping, because that 50 on this green candle, that 50 ended up pointing back up. So at that point, you cut it, because you don't want the 50 being up when you're in a negative cross. If it points back up, you get out. That's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what you should have done if you were in that trade. So if anything, you stop break even or like couple point loss, whatever that may be. But those are the trades you could have taken. I mean, I personally just wouldn't have traded today, which I didn't, because there's just no need to. Like when we have this type of chop right here, that's when just to stay out. I mean, you don't want to be trading this mess and get caught up in a pump and dump candle. Like we ended up having this this weird candle right here at 1 o'clock. There was like some, I think, Fed speaker, and we had a crazy wick, and then just funky candles going the rest of the day. So at that point, to sit out and not take anything. So that's pretty much what happened today. And also, the reason why the calls didn't end up crossing was right here. So if we pull up the puts again, higher time frames. I mean, we're sitting right at this daily 50 again today, and that's a massive support on the puts, and that's why the calls didn't end up crossing. I know that's kind of like hindsight, but that is the reason calls didn't cross. If they did cross, I would have taken the call cross still, just because market was bullish on the 30-minute, but then we broke below the 50, and we ended up getting this bounce from the daily 50. So this is a super high time frame, harder to trade it, but we did dump right off of open, like 100 to 200 points. So right at open, we were at that daily 50, and we dumped from that daily 50 like however many points I just said, 1 to 200, maybe more than that. But yeah, I mean, when we go to the 4-hour did break below the 50. That 10 is sloped down super hard, and the 50 is curling down. Daily is like the last spot on puts here that we could possibly bounce from and see a reversal. So right now market's neutral. Why? Because the 10's below the 50 on both sides of the premium, and then the call side is just crossing negative. You could see the 50 still sloped up. I'd imagine tomorrow it's gonna point down. We'll have to see what we look like at open though, but going into tomorrow, taking it as neutral, because neither side is crossed, and we just wait until one side crosses, and then we have trend in that direction, and then we focus on that direction. So going into tomorrow, 0-day cross on either side is on the table. And yeah, I mean, it's very simple. 0DT cross on either side, negative cross on either side will work. And I mean, it's a very simple game plan going to tomorrow. And again, it's all about knowing when to trade. Like a day like today, I just wouldn't have traded. When we get those very choppy candles, that's when just to stay out. We know the market's going neutral. At that point, just stay out of the market if you if you're trading, keep it lighter, because we could have that chop, which we did, and then once we have the trend, that's when you put your foot on the gas. So that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join the Discord down below. But yeah, I'm out. Peace.